Good morning everyone. We have come to Matale district today, more like the center of Sri Lanka. Our target for the day is going to be another hike, that is Etipola Mountain, 1267 meters in elevation. Right now our trail begins at a village called Alu Vihara Kanda, approximately 800 meters from sea level. So our elevation gain is going to be 467 meters for the day. Behind me you can see the trail. So let's continue and see if we can get up to the Etipola mountain range, turn to the summit. This is our path just beyond the trailhead. There are some tea plants and pepper creepers. After a steep climb, we have arrived at this somewhat flat terrain where the path is very prominent. We are trekking through this coffee cultivation now. We actually passed a bit of tea and then pepper. Now we are into this coffee cultivation. In fact, Matale is quite known for its spices such as pepper, cloves, nutmegs and many authentic uniquely Sri Lankan spices. As I told you, Matale is in the central province, somewhat close to the center of Sri Lanka. The exact point, Nalanda Gedige, which is considered to be the center of Sri Lanka, is also in Matale district, quite close to Etipola Mountain. Alright, we have arrived at this once again steep hill. This is actually a tea field. Okay, there are birds around. Okay, it seems this field is in use and there's a prominent path in the middle. We'll tackle on this. You can now clearly make out the path. It's a very steep, stony staircase, as if we are climbing up to a rocky fortress. Okay, this is my trekking partner today. After our Kurulgada adventure, Hasi and I have come to climb and conquer the Etipola Mountain. Very steep path. Alright, we got this tiny window of a viewpoint. Looks very beautiful, but I'm hoping Etipola will provide even better views. Alright, now you can see the entire uphill climb we did a short while ago. Hasi is standing about 2/3 uphill. Here is an even better viewpoint, but I'm afraid I don't know which hill this is or to which side we are looking at, but this is a nice vantage point where we are taking a short break because we are panting like dogs after that steep uphill climb. There are plenty of birds keeping us company. You can probably hear in the background. Either they are not happy or they are trying to cheer us up. It looks like we chose the wrong path, people. Remember, we started our uphill trek from that prominent path through that tea field. Looks like that is the wrong one. At the same point where we started going through the tea field into that steep hill, there was another footpath to the right. So we backtracked all the way to that point and now going uphill through that path. You can see this is also going through a coffee cultivation. Let me give you a better view of that. Alright, this is the path that runs through this coffee cultivation. You can probably make it out. There are some small arches too. And as I told you before, we backtracked to the point where we started that path through uphill tea bushes and going to the right, and we ended up in this section. Once again, we are not 100% sure if this is the correct path, but let's go uphill and see. As I keep telling you, there's only one way to find out. You can see this is like a mini jungle, coffee jungle, as if we are in Java or Sumatra in Indonesia. Once again, I'm still not sure if this is the correct path though. We have left the coffee cultivation at last behind us. Now we are onto the part of Etipola Mountain range. You can see the path now goes through this mana bushes into that forest patch. Okay, guess what people? We got deceived for the second time in a row. So the path the second time we took is also not correct, it seems, because there is nothing that we can see which leads up to the mountain range. We could have run all the way to one of the ridges through that mana bushes, but we know there is somewhat clear the path to the summit point, and we didn't want to risk going up there on a wild goose chase. Hence, we backtracked all the way, even passing that junction where we took the wrong path initially towards the tea bushes. We came further down to this areca nut and coffee and tea area, and we are going to try another route which is behind me. Let's go and see. Hope you can make out the trail now. This is actually being used by the villagers too, to visit these various coffee, tea and other cultivations. I was telling you, Matale is quite known for its spices. There are many spice gardens in Matale, and coffee, pepper, nutmeg, areca nut and many others. Anyway, even though I'm fairly certain this is the correct path, until we reach to a point where we can either check with somebody who's working in this field, or we can get a glimpse of the summit point, I'm quite skeptical. Okay, I can probably hear some people talking in the distance. Maybe there are some workers. We can probably check with them if this is the correct path to reach Etipola Mountain. I forgot to tell you, Etipola has a somewhat lower viewpoint, a very prominent one known as Brandigala or Brandy Rock. We actually had a plan to visit Brandy Rock during the same journey, but we've lost approximately 1.5 hours because of our wild goose chasers. So not sure whether we'll have enough time to visit Brandigala on the way. Okay, one of the prominent landmarks on the third trail we are taking. Now I'm fairly sure this is the correct one, because there it is saying the third time lucky. So let's continue along this footpath. Okay people, I think we are on the right path at the third time. You can see the summit of Etipola in the distance, 1268 meters. We are now approximately 300 to 400 meters below the summit point. There are some workers in the background working in their fields, so we are going to double check with them and continue on the correct path, try and reach the summit point as soon as possible. Here is a close-up view of the summit point. I wonder if I can make out a flagpole also. So that trail led us to this small hut. Probably this is being used as a clove collecting point, not sure, but there is nobody where we can check the road either. We tried to speak to some of these people working in the clove fields, but nobody seems to know the correct path. So we are going to take a chance, and because we saw the summit point of the Etipola Kanda, we are going to just make an educated guess and climb uphill towards that. Let's hope we are going to make it to the summit point. Oh dear, I've never seen such a thick coffee forest. This is almost like Sinharaja covered in coffee. We tried to ask the way from some of these workers who are plucking cloves, but seems they are not from this area, so we have to find our own way. Now we have reached the end of the coffee plantation and to the border of the mountain full of mana to our right. Alright people, I think we are actually on the correct path. To the left top of the frame I can make out the summit point. Down below, can you see this very clear stone steps leading up to the mountain range? Let's hope this is the correct path. As soon as we got on to those stone steps, this is the view we can see in the distance. For the third time, I'm showing you Hasi coming up the trail. First time and second time, we got deceived, but this time, I'm fairly sure we are on the correct trail. Let's hope, fingers crossed. We can now clearly make out the summit point in the distance up there. And look at the path. Somebody has cleared this. Otherwise, this would have been covered with mana. Look at this view, people. Getting wider and wider as we climb uphill. Can you make out the steps and how steep this path is? Okay, now you can make out the path and how steep it is. It's almost 70 degrees. You can almost touch your forehead on the steps up there. Take a look at this, people. Very beautiful panoramic view. Unfortunately, I can't figure out what are these mountains or which area we are looking at. We can probably do that once we reach the summit point. You can probably hear I'm panting so much, so tiring, and the sun is blazing down on us. And we already spent quite a lot of calories and energy doing those wild goose chases. Etipola Mountain is to the right. We are actually climbing up along these stone steps. Apparently this area had been an tea estate, probably during the colonial era. Now it's abandoned and Mana has taken over. Thankfully, there's a bit of a cool breeze helping us cool down. Here we are at the edge of the former tea estate. Now you can see the stone steps end from this point as we reach onto the rock of the Etipola Mountain. You can see the summit point to the left in the distance. Finally, I'm glad we are on the right track. We are finally on the Etipola Rocky Mountain. You can see the rocky surface ahead of me. We are going to get on top of that and start our way towards the summit point. Our path to glory is ahead. Can you make out some of the tea plants to the right? So this truly has been a tea estate in the good old days. I'm going to give you a 180-degree panoramic view from here. Still, we are not sure what we are seeing from here. However, let's worry about that later. Right now, let's treat our eyes, mind and soul with this beautiful panoramic view unfolding before our eyes. This is Etipola at her very best. This is the remains of the tea estate going towards the spinal cord of Etipola. Beyond that is A9 road, Matale, Alu Viharaya and Wiltshire Mountain along with Brandigala. We have a plan to reach Brandigala if possible today while climbing down. Not sure how it's going to turn around, but our target is going to be the mighty Etipola Mountain, 1268 meters. Do you know something? On the metric map, this is mentioned as Etipola instead of Etipola. Some sources say this is as Etipola. Alright people, now look at this tea estate. A lot better than we thought. We were actually under the impression this has been abandoned, but it is not the case, it seems. If there were fertilizers, this would have been even better. Now you are looking towards the spinal cord of Etipola mountain range. we have to trek along this tea estate, then get on to that, then go along to reach the summit point over there, quite a distance, and we haven't had our breakfast yet. You can see the steep slopes on that side. This is mighty Etipola, or Etipola, Etipola, or Etipola. Many names, but one beautiful and sexy lady. We are finally at the edge of tea estates. I remember I said the same thing a while ago, but we didn't expect tea estate to look like this. But this is definitely the barrier between the tea estate and the mountain range. This is where we are going to have breakfast. Okay people, now you can make out the path that we came uphill through this tea field, weaving our way through the tea bushes. This is actually better than we anticipated, but they must be having to work really hard to keep this going amid this fertilizer crisis too. Beautiful view, and we are going to have our breakfast with this view. Okay people, wonderful. We just had our breakfast, so I'm going to give you this beautiful panoramic view. We are now looking towards Kurunegala. The provincial border between central and northwestern is going over those hills. That is the difference between Matale and Kurunegala. We came from that side. And now we are coming towards the summit of Etipola. Here is the beautiful Etipola Mountain. The summit point is on that side. And this is the mountain range continuous towards Alu Kanda, where we started our trail. Started around 800 meters. We have to get up to 1268 meters. I think this point gives you a better perspective of the surrounding areas. As I told you before, we are looking towards the provincial border between central and northwestern. There is a small hut at the edge of this tea field. You can actually now see the entire tea field located on the western slopes of Etipola. That hut is to that side. This is the beautiful Etipola Mountain, the summit point, 1267 meters. I might have even said 1268, but that's 1267 meters. Looking so beautiful. Alright, we are now going slowly uphill through this forest patch. Actually, I can't call it a forest though, but there are some medium-sized bushes covering the entire mountain range, including Mana. We came across 2 barbed wire fences erected by the villagers in the surrounding areas. Apparently they are herding cattle and they are being sent to the mountain during when they are not working in the fields. So the cattle has to survive on their own. When the season comes, they would bring them back to the villages. This is something people in Mimure and Knuckles areas are doing. Looks like those cattle had taken a break here under this massive tree because it gives plenty of shade and some cool air. This is not the summit point, people. It's actually one of the higher points on the way to the summit point, which is to the left. Now we can't see that. Now we are looking towards the Knuckles mountain range. We can make out Gombania, the highest in Knuckles, Yakkunge Knuckles 5 Peaks and Hunnaskiriya Mountain. This is the view towards the summit point. We actually reached that false summit. From here we are looking towards the actual summit. Looks very intimidating and imposing. This is the view towards Knuckles mountain range. Hunnaskiriya, Knuckles 5 Peaks Gombania, Yakungehela and many others can be seen from here. This is the length of the Etipola Mountain range, extending towards Abeywickrema Kanda, where we started our trail. Beyond that goes all the way towards Matale. Now we are coming to northwestern province, towards Kurunegala. This is the area where we were trekking uphill. Provincial border runs along those mountain ranges. I think we can now see towards Kurunegala, and there are many mountains. Here is the summit point of Etipola Kanda, 1267 meters. You can see the summit point almost at touching distance. We need to get up there. There's a lot of wind here, so the camera might be picking up wind noise. Look at this beautiful view. We are actually standing on a rocky surface which is somewhat flat. Now this is towards northwestern province, Kurunegala district. The provincial border, as I've been telling you, runs along those hills. Unfortunately, I can't make out those mountains in the distance. The wind is actually making a bit of a nuisance. It's very difficult to video in the wind. It would be grand if we could pick those mountains, but maybe we'll be able to do so from the summit point. This is the view along the tail of the Etipola Mountain towards Abeywickrema Kanda and probably beyond towards Matale. We are now looking towards Unnaskiriya, Kallabokka or Kalabokka 360-degree viewpoint, and Hatale Minivalsen is also that side. And the Knuckles mountain range can also be seen beautifully from here. Knuckles 5 peaks, Gombania and Yakungehela can also be seen from here. Look at this imposing rock which resembles somewhat like a sitting down lion. Our path goes left of this. You can see the size of Etipola rock sloping like that. And our path is to the right. We have to go along this mana patch, then turn left to reach the summit point. And these are the rocky boulders we came bypassing one after the other, somewhat remembering Kukulagala hike. Right, we are slowly trying to reach the Etipola Mountain. To our right is it's essentially the east, where Matale Alu Viharaya, the rock temple or the cave temple, Wiltshire Mountain, Brandigala and Kandy Jaffna Highway A9 is there, along with Knuckles mountain range. To our left is the Kurunegala. I'm sure the mountains in Kurunegala are to our left or the west. Behind us is Abeywickrema Kanda, where we started our trail. We are now touching distance or kissing distance or even hugging distance from Etipola summit point. Just look at this sheer drop, people. Oh my goodness. Just like Etigala slope. And our path is somewhere in the middle. We have to get on top of the other summit point on the right, then weave our way through to the top. We are now trekking at the edge of this Etipola mountain range, trying to reach the summit point. Hasi is leading the way now. He's taken the baton from me. You can see the sheer drop. We can't make a mistake here, otherwise we will roll all the way down to Kurunegala. Right, he's disappeared into the bushes. It's my time to disappear into the bushes. And this is looking backwards towards the path we came uphill. Very difficult, and it was so hard to get through those thorny bushes and the mana patches. You can see this forest patch along the ridge of the mountain which we had to walk through. It was very shady, but there were so many thorny creepers which we had to tackle. And this is the path uphill towards the summit. Etipola Kanda summit is very elusive. She has been keeping us guessing all this time. Small panoramic view. We are actually looking towards the way we came. If I'm not mistaken, now we are looking towards the Kurunegala side. To the left should be Matale, to the right towards Kurunegala. Provincial border is also to that side. We have climbed uphill so much. I've lost the number of meters we have climbed uphill. This is the trail that runs through the forest patch. Now we are almost close to the summit point. I've been feeling that way for a very long time, but this time it must be very close. We are very close to the summit point. Yes, I've been telling this so many times, but this time it's very close. I can almost feel it, touch it, smell it, all those things. You can see the path that runs through these bushes, which are taller than us now. It's good in a way because it's keeping us shielding from the sun. It's very difficult to walk through in the piercing sunny rays, but we keep our morale high because the summit is now at touching distance. So hopefully we'll be able to get up to the Etipola Mountain. I seem to have forgotten the name because I'm so tired. Let's get up to the summit point and enjoy the surrounding views. We are yet to reach the summit point, people. See this rocky boulder. We need to walk across. Path seems to be to the left. Look at the view towards Knuckles. From that rocky slab we just came on top. This is still not the summit point. Now we are looking towards Hunnasgiriya. What a beautiful panoramic view, but haziness is still there, preventing us getting some glamorous views. However, we got to be content with whatever Mother Nature provides. There's always a good reason for her to do this. Look at the tail of the mountain now. So far below, Abeywickrema Kanda is to that side. Wow, just amazing. We actually climbed on that slope to the west towards Kurunegala. Wow, this is an excellent vantage point. Unfortunately, we can't still make out these mountain ranges in the distance. And the path continues towards the summit, full of these thorny bushes, which have made it a walk through hell for us. But they couldn't deter us. We are determined to reach the summit one way or the another. We are now looking towards Gammaduwa, Karagahathan and Mausa. This mountain towards the east is Wiltshire. It's also known as Alu Vihara Kanda or Etigala. We are in Etipola. She is approximately 1177 meters in height. This is towards Gombani and Yakkunge Hela. And this is Hunnasgiriya, Kalabokka or Kalabokka, Hatale Mini World Center. To that side. And the Etipola Mountain range. Brandigala should be to the left. I don't think we can see it from here. Etipola Kanda keeps teasing us. She is like a very demanding lover, not wanting to get close at once. She wants to keep guessing, teasing as long as possible. We are looking towards the path that we came uphill. My goodness, I can't believe we have trekked all this, and the view extends as usual towards northwestern province. but the haze preventing us seeing much farther into the distance or identifying anything. Okay people, here we are finally at the summit point. You can make out those rocky boulders, flag post and the flag itself. Let's get closer now. Going to give you a 360-degree view from the summit point. As you can see, this doesn't offer magnificent views, I'm afraid. Now we are moving towards Hunnasgiriya and the tail of Etipola Kanda. Coming to the right. You are now familiar with these sceneries because we've been showing you this. This is to the village that we started our trek uphill through those coffee, clove and pepper cultivations. Now we are moving towards the north. We can make out Arangala from here. Remember we climbed Arangala a couple of years ago. That was one grand hike. Unlike the Etipola Kanda, Arangala offered some wonderful panoramic views from the summit point. You can see the summit point and the surrounding areas covered by these very prickly bushes, making it so hard to get up to the summit point. This is once again towards the north. You can make out this forest patch. Beyond that is Arangala, Beliya Kanda, Manikdena and many other mountains. This is the summit point flag waving in the wind, saying hi to you all. Okay people, then this is Sri and Hasi signing off from the Etipola Kanda summit point. We'll show you more footages on our way downhill because I'm sure there will be more beautiful panoramic scenes to see. We'll end our journey somewhere close to the bottom of the Etipola mountain range. Okay peeps, we come here. Remember we stopped here on our way to the summit point. Because the summit point didn't offer us glamorous views, we decided to come back here, take a small break, have a small snack, then give you another beautiful panoramic view from here. Here we go. You can make out the clearing. Now we are standing on. There's also a couple of rocky slabs. We are now looking towards Hunnasgiriya, Kalabokka and Hatale mineral sands. Down below is the A9 road and surrounding towns. I assume that's the Matale town we can see from here. We are now coming towards Abeywickrema Kanda area and the tail of Etipola Mountain. Now we are looking towards Matale. The reason why I am saying is that we can barely make out Alagalla mountain range with its unique long shape and a pointy head in one end. The other side is towards Gangoda where Pujagala is. Now we are coming back to Kurunagala. I'm afraid I can't make out any of these mountains, people. I feel like kicking myself, but their shapes are not very visible from here. All I can see is that the provincial border goes along the hills in the foreground. And this is the view towards the summit point. Unfortunately, we can't see the summit point from here. No, we could see any beautiful views from there. This is a proper view of the entire Etipola mountain range. Almost from the summit point towards the tail. Such a beautiful and long mountain range. It wasn't easy getting up to this point. Remember, elevation gain was approximately 467 meters. However, I felt we climbed more than that. And losing our way twice in the morning didn't help our cause at all. On our way down, we wanted to stop here and show you the Wiltshire Mountain, one of our targets in the future. She is also known as Alu Vihara Kanda and Etigala. Matale Alu Viharaya and A9 road is beyond that. Just look at the path. We have to go downhill, people. We need to go along that ridge on the left hand side, and then beyond that steep gorge, turn to the right and climb down. Not going to be a walk in the park, people. Look at this tree art, people. It is full of old man's beard. Something peculiar to the upcountry. It helps retain water and release it in a gradual way. I'm going to show you very quickly the sloping Etipola rock. You can see the rocky slab we are standing, and the Etipola slanting to the left. Okay, this is slanting Etipola in one frame. I managed to capture it for you. Now this is going to wow you to no end. Just look at this. Oh my goodness. Sheer drop of Etipola Mountain. Look at the gorge between us and her. Just amazing, but scary at the same time. We are climbing down. Magnificent views are available all the way. You can see Hasi is walking through paradise. This view, people, will never satisfy me. She is such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful scenery. Just can't get enough of her. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable Etipola. And the path, we have to go downhill. My legs are complaining. They are shivering with fear. We have to get down all the way to the bottom. Taking a small break on our way down. We have decided to skip Brandigala in this journey. We'll make it another day. We are back in the tea field and bidding our farewell to this beautiful, sexy, sensual and gorgeous lady. Finally, we are close to the trailhead to end our journey to this mighty Etipola Mountain or Etipola Kanda. It's also called as Etipola, Etipola and many other names. It's been a very tiring journey because 2 false starts cost us approximately 1 hour in time and also expended plenty of calories and energy. As a result, the overall journey turned out to be more tiring than we expected. What to do? Everything we have to put down to the experience. Not everything goes according to plan. That's why you need to have plan B, C, D and up to Z if possible. So this is Sri and Hasi signing off from Abeywickrema Kanda after climbing mighty Etipola. We'll see you once again with yet another hike like this in the future. Until then, remember the golden rule. Do everything possible to keep Mother Nature safe. If you protect her, she will in turn protect you. With that message, we are signing off. Stay safe and take care.